today. So, our topic for the fourth week in Math 10 is factoring higher degree polynomials. Okay? If you can remember, when we had our discussion of the foundational topics, we focused on the second day, we focused on the factoring polynomials. That's because factoring will be a very important concept that needs to be mastered in grade 10. Okay? And this is now one of the reasons why we had factoring as part of our foundational topics. Okay? But this time, we're not just only factoring smaller degrees, because we will now be dealing more with higher degrees, which means the x cubed, x raised to 4, x raised to 5, x raised to 6, or even higher than x raised to 6. But before that, of course, let's just have first a short review of the different factoring techniques. For example, we have 4x squared plus 12x minus 8. Lower degree pa lang yan. How will we factor this? First step, of course, is to find the common factor. Is there a common factor among all the terms? Unmute your microphone and answer if you have an answer. First thing to do in factoring is find a common factor. Do we have a common factor among all these terms? Yes or not?
Yes.
Yes po.
Okay, what's that common factor?
4.
4.
So 4 is the common factor, and x is not included simply because there's no x there. Okay, this is just a fast review. So therefore, let's factor out 4. So 4x squared divided by 4, that's x squared. Got it? And then 12x divided by 4, that's plus 3x. And then negative 8 divided by 4, that's negative 2. Can this be factored pa further? Can we still factor this general trinomial? Kaya pa? Try nga natin. Meron bang factor pa to? Factors of x squared, x and x. Let's just change our given para pwede pa. Ayan, gagawin ko na lang plus yun. Okay, everybody please change that to plus. Okay, change that to plus. I changed that to plus. Can this still be factored, this general trinomial?
Apa.
Yes, of course. So, the step here is factor the first terms, x and x. Factors of 2. We have 2 and 1, because 2 times 1, that's 2. Okay, now, to check if the factors are correct, we need to multiply this. 1 times x, that's x. X times 2, that's 2x. That's 2x. What should be their signs to get a positive 3x? Both of them should be
Positive.
positive. So this is positive and this is positive. Okay? And so this is now the factored form of this given. We have 4 times the quantity of x plus 1 times the quantity x plus 2. So that is the complete factor of this given. Complete factors. Okay? So again, always remember the first step is always the common monomial factor. Always check if your given has a common monomial factor. After getting the common monomial factor, find still if this can still be factored out or factored. Okay? Thumbs up if you got that process. Very good. Okay, thank you. Now, let's continue. Let's have another. So yun, combination na ng factoring, common monomial factor, and general trinomial, the trial and error. Let's have this. Let's have 16x squared minus I'll write it here. 16x squared minus 9. I'll write another given. In here we have 16x squared plus 9. Okay, I want you to analyze these two given. They have almost exactly the same terms, however different signs. Question: which is factorable? Sige nga. Is it the black or the red? Kindly chat it if you are shy to say the answer. Is it the black or the red? Which is factorable? The black or the red? PM me your answer. Okay. Okay. Sige, I'm waiting for your answers. It's okay to commit mistakes. Wala akong problema doon. Okay lang magkamali. Ayan. So, from here we will make it clear which is really factorable. Thank you. Based on your answers, they are mixed. Half of you are saying the black is factorable, and the other half are saying the red is factorable. And which is correct? Remember, the factorable given among these two is, ready? That is, this is not factorable. Okay, this is factorable. Why? This is because this is what you call the difference of two squares. This is a perfect square. 16x squared is a perfect square. 9 is also a perfect square. If you have two both perfect squares, your sign should be minus. And in that way, this given can still be factored. In here, this is a perfect square, and this is also a perfect square. However, there is a plus right there. If it's already a plus, hindi na siya pwedeng i-factor. Let's try to differentiate the two. This is just for you to get clarified. Okay? Marami kasi sa mga estudyante nalilito pa with this given. 16x squared minus 9. And the other given is 16x squared plus 9. I will show you why this is factorable and this is not. Okay? Okay, so this is the difference of two squares. And as you all know, the shortcut for the difference of two squares is automatically get the two factors. Factor the square root of 16x squared, that's 4x and 4x. Tama? Because 4 times 4, that's 16. X times x, that's x squared. Okay? Next, factors of 9, or the square root of 9, that's 3 and 3. And for the difference of two squares, remember that one should be positive, one should be negative. Okay? Let's just try. If we will do the FOIL method, this is 16x squared minus 12x. Just to show you the process, why it will become like this. That's plus 12x. And then that's minus 9. Okay? Negative 12x plus 12x, that's 0. So what's left is 16x squared minus 9. Okay? Bumalik ka na sa dati. Okay? So, that's the reason why this is factorable. Let's try this. If we will do this, do the same process. Wala namang common factor because 9 and 16 do not have a common factor. There's no x, so walang common factor. If we will try like this, malay natin, let's just try. For x, factors of 9, 3, 1, 3 and 3. What should be their signs? If for the difference, it should be plus and minus. Ito kaya, plus naman ito. So, positive, tsaka positive, 3 times 3, that's 9. Baka naman pwede rin si 4x minus 3 tsaka si 4x minus 3. Kasi negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9. Try natin ha. Ito din na pwede i-factor. Try lang natin to. Baka malay nyo biglang masira yung rule na yon. Let's just try. That's 16x squared. Just to show you. That is 12x plus 12x plus 12x. OMG, yun pa lang, hindi na pwede. Plus 9. 16x squared. 12x plus 12x, that's 24x plus 9. OMG, are they the same? No. So therefore, this is not a factor. Kasi hindi sila nag-result sa pareho. Got it? Let's try this. Ito naman, this is 16x squared. Malay nyo, ito pareho na. Minus 12x. OMG, minus 12x plus 9. 16x squared minus 24x plus 9. Are they the same? No. That is because even though we have a perfect square for the first and last term, if it is addition, it's not anymore factorable. Remember that. Is that clear? Thumbs up if you got that concept. Very good. Let's have another set of given. Ready? This time, I want you to identify which is factorable and which is not. Just chat me the numbers of the given, if which among them are factorable. Ready? I'll give 1, 2, 3, and 4 given. Ready? Just PM me which numbers are still factorable. Ready? Go. PM me the numbers of the given that are still factorable. Mixed answers. Which are factorable. Kasi dapat basics ng factoring gets natin before we move on to higher degree. Okay, tingnan natin. Okay. Okay, ready na? Let's now qualify which are the answers. Which are factorable? Perfect square. Perfect square. Minus. Factorable si number 1. Very good. Number 2. Perfect square. Pag sa akin perfect square, meron siyang square root, 25y squared. And then ito naman, minus 100, the square root of 100, it's 10. And then it's minus. Check. Okay. Next. It's just a binomial. Wala siyang common factor. This is a perfect square. But is 10 a perfect square? It's not a perfect square. Kahit minus siya, 10 is not a perfect square. So therefore, this is not factorable anymore. Gets po? Wala namang ibang pwedeng i-factor dito kasi wala namang common factor. What about here? 16x squared, uy, perfect square. And 49, perfect square. However, the sign is positive. Factorable or not? It's not factorable. So therefore, the answers are just 1 and 2. Congratulations to those who got it correctly. One more. Thumbs up if you got it correctly. If you understood the process, please. Show a thumbs up if you understood the process. Okay, identification muna tayo which are factorable and not. Okay, let's have this. Let's have 5 items tayo. Ready? Go. Which numbers are factorable? Do it now. Sige. Continue typing. I'm looking at your answers. Hindi ko muna sinasabi kung alin ang tamang sagot. Okay. So, you have mixed answers. Let's see which are factorable. Ready na? X squared, perfect square. 81, perfect square, minus perfect square. Number 1 is a perfect square. It's factorable, I mean. Next, ito muna. Skip ko yung number 2. Ayoko muna sa number 2. Let's have 49y squared. It's a perfect square. 1 is a perfect square. And it's a minus. It's factorable. Okay? Number 4. Skip ko kasi common yung answers is 1, 3, and 4. Okay? X squared plus 4x plus 4. Yes, this is factorable by perfect square trinomial. Pwede rin kayong general trinomial, yung trial and error. X factors, yon. Factors of 4 to 2. Since they are plus, magiging 2x, that's 4x. So, match sa gitna. It's a perfect square trinomial. Parehong-pareho. Okay? And of course, this one, this is not factorable anymore. Firstly, ito lang ang perfect square. Ito, hindi naman siya perfect square. Tapos, plus pa siya. And there's no common factor. So, this is not factorable anymore. Okay? What about this? Is this factorable? Look at number 2. Kindly examine number 2. Is number 2 still factorable? Examine it. Look at it. They are not perfect squares. So if they are not perfect squares, so they are not perfect squares. Pero you are missing the very first point, the very first part that we need to do. Ano yung pinakaunang sinabi ko kanina? We need to look for the common monomial factor. Exactly. Do you see a common monomial factor here? And that is 2. So therefore, this is equivalent to 2 times x squared plus 5. So this is still factorable. Okay na? Okay. One last. Ready? Getting better? Lumilinaw na? Ready? Dadagdagan ko na yung given ko. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Identify which are factorable. Ready? Go. PM me the numbers of the polynomials that are still factorable. Go. Hindi ko sila pinapa-factor, just identify which are factorable. Clue, there are 4 given that are factorable. Identify which numbers are they. There are 4 factorable polynomials in this given. Which are they? Go. So I'm expecting 4 numbers in your chat box. Go. Ready? Ina-analyze. Sige. But many of you are getting the correct answer. Okay. Ready? Don't worry. As we move on in our examples, we will be clarified with some other things that are still not clear about this. Ready? So, let's now identify which are the answers. Number 1, is it still factorable? Yes, by what? By what?
3x squared.
3x.
Okay, they are factorable by 3x squared, and that is what we call the common monomial factor. Okay? Check si number 1. Okay? So if we will factor this, that's 3x squared. Tama? Okay. Because 3 and 9 are divisible by 3, x cubed and x squared, get the smaller exponent. Okay? So 3x cubed divided by 3x squared, that is x. And then, plus 9 divided by 3, that's 3. X squared divided by x squared, that's 1. So that is the factored form of number 1. Okay? Thumbs up if you got that process. Okay, next. Let's have this. Perfect square, but it's plus. We cannot apply here the difference of 2 squares. However, is it still factorable?
Opo.
Yes, by what?
Opo.
Common
Yes, it's
monomial.
factorable by common
Yes.
monomial factor again. So 4 and 100, kahit perfect square sila, plus naman ito, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung difference of 2 squares kanina. So the only way that we can apply here is the common monomial factor. And what's their common factor? 4 and 100 are both divisible by what number? By 4. 4x squared divided by 4, the answer is?
Squared.
X
X
squared.
squared. 100 divided by 4, that is?
25.
25.
25. And that's the factored form of this given. Okay? Next, x squared plus 1. Ito na. X squared is a perfect square and 1 is a perfect square. However, the sign is addition. Factorable or not? It's not anymore factorable.
Not.
There's no other common factor. Hindi na siya factorable. Kung ito 1, kung minus yan, pwede pa. You can factor this into x plus 1 and x minus 1. However, it's not plus. It's not minus, it's plus. So therefore, hindi siya pwedeng ganon. Remember that, please. Okay? So it's okay to commit mistakes. Okay. Just remember, habang nagkakamali tayo, tinatandaan kung saan tayo nagkakamali, ha? So this is not factorable. Kahit perfect square pa yan, kung plus yan, hindi siya pwede. Okay? Next, let's have this. This is a general trinomial. General quadratic trinomial. So the process here is by factoring by trial and error. Factors of x squared, it's x and x. Tama? Factors of 6, isipin nyo na agad, ano bang factor nito dapat na magiging 5? Pwede si 2 and 3, pwede si 5 and 1, pero walang negative, so hindi pwede si 5 and 1. Pwede ka lang mag-add. So that's 3 and 2. 3 times 2, that's 6. Tama? Okay, and then 2x plus 3x, that's 5x. So they should be both addition. That's factorable. Okay? Okay, next. Ito. But actually, this is PST. Pero kung nakalimutan niyo yung PST, let's do the trial and error kasi pareho lang naman yan. Factors of x squared, that's x and x. Factors of 25 na dapat magiging 10. What are those numbers? 5 and 5. 5 and 5. What should be their signs to get a positive 10?
Positive.
Should be both positive. Very good. So, it's x plus 5 times x plus 5 or pwede siya, since they are just the same, it can just be written as x plus 5 squared. Okay? Any of the two are both correct. Okay? Next, ito. Perfect square si 4, but x is not. And minus, kahit minus yan, kung hindi naman to perfect square, wala rin. So that's it. Hindi na siya. It's not factorable anymore. Okay? Thumbs up if you got that process. Show a thumbs up, please. Okay. Thank you. So, before we move on to factoring higher degree polynomials, in the chat box, kindly type in if there are still other questions regarding this concern. Or kung mahirapan kayong i-type, i-unmute nyo yung microphone nyo and tell me your question. Game. We're open for question and answer now. Regarding these concepts muna. Meron ba? Kung wala naman, in the chat box, kung walang question, pakitype na lang, clear po if everything is okay. Clear na po. Paano pong 4 na terms? Okay. So, sige. Kung si Kyla raised the hand, sige, I have the first question already. Kyla, what's your question?
Napindot lang po.
Napindot lang. Oh, sige. So, paano pong 4 na terms? Abigail, what do you mean by this? Paano po yung 4 na terms?
Kasi po, dun po sa para pong may 4 na terms pong given sa activity po.
Sa grouping ba yan? Grouping. Okay. Factoring by grouping. Okay. Thank you for that, Abigail. That's just easy. I'll teach you the technique. Ready? So we have, actually pang higher degree na to, pero sige, discuss ko na rin kasi natanong na rin. X cubed, x squared, x, and then a number. Okay, makinig. So for example, always remember, kung ang pattern mapababang ganyan, x cubed, x squared, x, and then a constant. So, walang problema doon. Next na titingnan is, for example, may pattern ba yung magkakasunod na terms? Halimbawa, if look at the coefficients, if this is x, and then this is 2x squared, okay, plus, if this is, for example, 5, tas ito ay plus 10, do you see a pattern? Ito ay from 1 to 2, nag-times 2 ka. Okay? I'm just showing you the technique for the grouping. And then 5 to 10, anong ginagawa nating pattern? That's also times 2. If that's the case, we can do factoring by grouping in this problem. Okay? Pagsamahin natin, and this is what we call factoring by grouping. Okay? Now na magkasama na sila, first group, may common factor ba kayo na nakikita? What's the common factor?
X squared.
We have x squared. Very good. So we can write x squared here. Factor out. X cubed divided by x squared. The answer is x. 2x squared divided by x squared. The answer is 2 plus 2. Gets po? Finactor out nyo si x squared, dinivide, at tinatira. Plus. May common factor ba dito? 5x, and 10, may common factor. What's the common factor?
5.
5 po.
Exactly. Common factor si 5. So, ilabas si 5. What's left inside? 5x divided by x. X.
X.
And
X.
divided by 5
2.
2.
plus 2. Okay. And then, that's not yet finished. Remember, in factoring by grouping, the purpose of this is after factoring, after grouping, mayroong lalabas na magkaparehong term. Do you see a similar terms in this given?
Yes.
Yes, and what
po.
is that?
X plus.
X
X
plus
plus 2.
2.
Remember, ito, this is considered one term, plus is the separator, and this is another term. So there are two terms niyan. Okay? So what's common among these two terms? That is x plus 2. Ito ay common sa dalawang terms. Can you follow? So therefore, para lang siyang 5x squared plus ayoko na ng 5 kasi 5 din yon. Para lang siyang 2x squared tsaka 10. What's the common factor? 2. So ito si 2. Parang ito yung 2 natin yan. So we will factor out what's common, and in this case, that's x plus 2. Kasi common si x plus 2 sa dalawang term. Can you follow? Okay, thank you. Now, pag finactor out mo to, what's left? X squared times x plus 2 divided by x plus 2. What's left? X squared. So, x squared. Ayun, no? Common kasi finactor out mo sa x plus 2. And then, 5 times x plus 2 divided by x plus 2. What's left? Five.
Plus 5.
Okay, plus 5. And that is already the factored form. Question, meron pa bang pwedeng i-factor dito? X plus 2, hindi na. Uy, x squared, perfect square. But this is 5, it's not a perfect square. Tapos plus pa. Meron pa bang pwedeng i-factor sa kanila? Wala na. So that's already the factored form of this. Is that clear? Show a thumbs up if you got that process. Okay, let me see. Thank you. I will give another set of given on our next invite because this will end in a minute. Okay? So, paki-SS muna, paki-SS and let's see each other on our second invite. Okay? See you there. I will give you the next example, the next activity about factoring by grouping. Okay? See you in our second invite.